So these are issues that impact young people because, as we all know, your right to vote and the action of voting unlocks all the other rights, including same-sex marriage, including whether we're going to stand up against a law that says don't say gay, basically restricting kindergarten through third grade teachers in Florida to be able to love openly and teach what they believe is important for people to understand.
Auron, why this obsession from the communists on the sexualization of kids? I mean, I understand the mind of the communists about as well as I think I'm capable of, but this thing, they're obsessed with it. It's like abortion for them. Explain it to me.
Well, they absolutely understand what they're asking for, again, is the transformation of the American way of life and the American moral system. And that means that they need access to children young to make sure that they can indoctrinate them in it. I think there are many different levels at which they want to target children and many different reasons. Some of them are pretty sinister and as gross as you want to, as you would think. But they also have, again, that higher interest in applying power at every level. They know that if they can separate a child from their parents, if they can give them an identity that protects them from the authority of their parents, and that the state needs to get involved to separate that child and that parent from each other so that that child can express that, gender ideology that's been handed to them by a teacher, then they have pretty much ultimate power. That's when you have a total state. When the state can step in and completely control the relationship between a child and a parent, which is why we recognize it in places like communist, like the Soviet Union or maybe, Nazi Germany. But for some reason, we have a hard time seeing what's happening here in America. But it's very clear that this is the kind of goal that they have in mind.
How far-reaching is this total state?
Total. The idea is that you have to control every opportunity for interaction, right? They need to control the media. They need to control the educational system. And most importantly, and this is when it gets most nefarious, they need to control every interpersonal interaction. It's not enough to simply be in control of the consensus-making organs of our civilization. They need to make sure that they're in your bedroom. They need to make sure that they're in your family's home. They need to make sure that they're between you and your church. They need to make sure that they're between you and your employees. Every single company and almost every single large institution at this point has a commissar placed inside of it. It's called your HR department or your diversity requirements. Every one of these massive organizations has someone whose job it is to officially go in and tell you when you're wrong thinking. And they want to make sure that they can do that at every single level.
God, it's frightening. Auron MacIntyre, his Substack is Total State. Highly recommended. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you. Come back soon.
Don't miss Jesse Kelly Breaks History. Che Guevara, the latest episode of a new series available now exclusively for First TV supporters. Visit the First TV app or thefirsttv.com to subscribe and start watching today.